Me. Mo. La 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 la.
Live we are.
Red leather, yellow leather. We're live.
We're live right now, you know.
There's nothing on here that shows me that we're live at all. Oh my goodness. Tech difficulties. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Chill to Action, everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. It's game day Sunday. We're here hanging out. Again, thank you all for coming in, hanging out. Chill to Action. Welcome. As usual, I have with me on today my wonderful, great super moderator, Mr. Paul Denuzio.
Paulie D in the house. What's going on, everybody? How are you?
Yeah. Our third host for tonight, Mr. Billy Belford.
What up? Glad to be here.
Yeah. And our super awesome, wonderful potential manager of the year, Mr. John Kaiser.
Potential. Listen, if I'm a little out of breath, it's just because I ran 2 miles, not because I'm trying to get in shape, just because I caught somebody breaking into my car. So bear with me.
Does anyone see Magneto?
Where are you broadcasting from? The cheap motel in Falcon Ridge, Indiana? Where are you guys?
Yes, we're each in separate hotel rooms also.
I'm in upstate New York, somewhere away from the big city. So,
is that real? Are you really in upstate New York?
I am actually. I am.
Where?
Albany.
Oh, Jesus. I'm from Rochester, man.
My wife actually went out to lived in Rochester for a little bit. She
got
Rochester.
Smart. She got out.
Then she married
she didn't
me.
Do any better going to Albany, but whatever.
Exactly. She married me too, so I don't know how.
Oh, you're a good guy. I think that might have been the one smart thing she did.
Oh, well, thanks, man. There you go. Speaking of the silver shot.
Put the check in the mail. That's all I'm saying.
Right now.
Jack Burton says the check's in the mail.
What's up, y'all? All right, Kaiser, thank you so much for coming on this Sunday. It's baseball. It's baseball season right now. So the Yankees are playing the Astros at the moment. I don't know what the score is.
The Bronx. See, I'm representing. Taking time out of my schedule for managing this, how do I put this, greatest faction that ever lived in the Schmoedown and watching the Yankee game. It's hard work. Like Woody Harrelson, it's hard goddamn work. Or did the other guy say that? I don't remember. One of them said that.
Both of them say it.
Did they?
Hard goddamn
it's hard work managing this faction and watching the Yankee games and keeping everything afloat. But listen, you know, like I said, I've told you guys this before. It's the magic season, so mainly because I'm here now. But I need to share this magic with the world, and that's why I wanted to talk to you guys today.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's why Kaiser is the best. Kaiser is the best.
That's somebody who obviously scored high on their SATs sending that message. Smart human being.
Yeah, that works. Kaiser, tell us what got you into the Schmoedown.
Oh, wow. Well, I've talked about this a little bit. I'm going to give you the brief version. But truth be told, I go back with Harloff. Harloff was like my first friend in L.A. We both went to the New York Film Academy, which is like some horse shit. Let's take your money and put a Bolex camera in your hand and run around LA and make movies. By the way, the Bolex is the camera they stormed Normandy with. It weighs 800 pounds. And so Harloff and I became fast friends. He made his Animal House version. He made his final film was like an Animal House kind of thing based loosely on his college experience. And shockingly, he casted me as the biggest dick on campus. So we became friends. I never got involved in the Schmoedown. After, our careers evolved, Christian went and did Christian things. I went and did Kaiser things. Later down the road, I'd come watch some Schmoedown matches and hang out. It wasn't until my dear friend Kevin Smets decided that he wanted to assault this league that I said, yeah, now I'll come hang out with you, Harloff. I'll come play with you in the Schmoedown. And ironically enough, it was Smets' idea. And so here we are. Winning belts, winning championships, doing things that great factions do in this league.
Doing dungeon things. That's interesting because I know that Kevin and Rachel Cushing are good friends, and I always assumed that that's kind of how Kevin got into the Schmoedown and stuff like that. So to hear like these different little circles that all kind of come around, that's
funny.
Really, yeah, that's super funny. What a small California world.
Yeah, and let's face facts, you know what I mean? Smets is obviously well, he's the next IG champion of the world, and Mikey seatbelts can take that to the bank because we will take his belt before the end of the year. That is going to happen because Smets is a machine. He's a monster. He's a Terminator, and he ain't stopping. And with me in his corner, it's gonna get right before the end of the year. And that's why people should buy tickets to Spectacular, come out to this fine city of Los Angeles, sit in traffic, and watch us dish rag corruption all over the stage on D-Day.
Man.
It is on D-Day. That's so funny.
I mean, it could happen. There's a lot that needs to happen. I mean, there's a lot of matches between them, but I'm confident that I got the right guy.
Absolutely, at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, he was already one question away from possibly dethroning the seatbelt.
A name away.
Just a little flub.
That's life. Babe Ruth didn't bat 1,000.
No, he did not.
That's very true.
He didn't have the best ERA in the World Series history, though.
And Babe Ruth didn't have the best manager that ever lived, me. So I'm sure that would have upped his batting average a little bit.
At least a little bit.
A little bit.
I will say, I think you have a murderer's row kind of team there at the dungeon.
I like your analogy right there. That's about as good as you can put it. Murderer's row. I might trademark that and pay you nothing.
Sounds like a Schmoedown career.
Save him a beer when he comes to LA. That's all you need to pay him. He's good with that.
Oh, you coming, Bill? You coming to LA?
We're trying.
Eventually, I'm definitely coming. I don't know.
Well, you got to come watch. You got to come watch prime time. Beat whatever moron wins this thing.
Absolutely.
That's the great thing about me and Paul. The great thing about me and Paul, we didn't come to the Schmoedown to make friends and let's all hang out and have tea parties. And we found each other, and all he did was go undefeated and beat the goat farmer. What's his name? Merle. Took his belt, still undefeated. So, great minds think alike, and that's why, Paul came over to the dungeon. He knew what he was doing. And I have a great eye for talent, obviously.
Obviously.
Well,
I'll say this. When you have even the greats have a bad day, and that's when you got to catch them to beat them. Paul had a bad day in New York, and he still won. So when you can win on your bad days, that's greatness. Like those are the all-time greats.
Well, look, I didn't spend $38,000 sending him to the Shaolin temples to train with monks, and I didn't. That's good money well spent.
Yeah.
True.
And he's in that. He's going to close out 2019 as the champion.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go into 2020 in this weirdo draft thing they got going on. Whatever. I don't care. What is this kid saying, Hannah? I'm going to say it again. Just, you know what? First of all, I discovered that kid. Let's be real. I discovered Hannah. I have to go off the primetime train for a minute. I discovered Hannah. And if I wanted him in the dungeon, he'd be here. And maybe with this draft, it's possible. Because he's like my kid brother. Half the time I want to kick him down the stairs. The other half the time I want to go to his Little League games. But whatever. I just saw his name pop up, so I figured I'd comment on it.
Brandon Hanna is everywhere.
He is.
Well, he's down with your crew, right? He's in your.
He's with every crew.
He's in that the Robert Meyer Burnett network or whatever you guys are running over there. The R&B media.
He's also the greatest horseman that ever lived. That's his trademark.
He is the greatest horseman that ever lived.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
We'll find out.
But speaking of your eye for talent, and speaking of the nuke, we got a challenge for you. Since we're doing the nuke in January, I want you to start a faction of 4 to 5 players, but you can't use anybody that's in the dungeon.
Oh, bullshit. Smets, Oyama, Zip. Now I got 2 picks. Hold on. I got 2 picks. This might surprise you. I'll take Bateman for sure, because that kid's an assassin. He reminds me of me. He don't give a shit. He's good at what he does. I like Bateman. I take him first, and then now I got to have 5 in the dungeon. That's I'm tempted to take Guy because I'd like to put those 2 knuckleheads back together. And Guy hasn't seen his full potential yet because he's running around with Interview with a Vampire. But if Guy was with me, because he beat Merle, I feel like I could take that kid. So I'll take Bateman and Guy. That's my 5 dungeon. Oyama, Zip, Smets, Bateman, Guy.
I like it. I like that. That worked for me.
But you really want me to pick 5 that aren't in the freaking dungeon? I mean, that's.
I was gonna go for it. See, you have the eye for talent, so I know you could do it. But I'll let you get away with it.
I mean, don't you have more important questions to ask at this point?
This is the thing. You have to want. I mean, you obviously want it, but you need them to be champions because everyone's going to be trying to poach the dungeon.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not if they're all champions. They can't. You see,
if they're all, that's what I'm saying.
When Paul defends the belt, Smets wins the belt. I get to keep Zipper because if I get Paul, I get Zip, and I forfeit. So the dungeon's already set. Whatever happens at that, my guys are going to win everything. So I'm not worried about that. I'm going to have those 3 guys going into that draft. Whatever happens after that is like a game of dice in an alley. I don't know.
Game of dice in an alley.
Whoever they are, I'm sure I'll train them to greatness, but I'm really concerned about these 3 guys. You know, Zipper's on a keto diet. He just started kickboxing, so he's going to have a whole new edge going into 2020.
The Kaiser keto diet.
Kaiser keto diet, I like that.
Believe.
Ooh,
I wonder what the Kaiser keto diet is. Is it just basically cheese, just only cheese and?
Oh, now look who chimes in. Of course. Well, of course I'd want the machine in the dungeon. Let's not. That's not even a question. I don't even know why she would try and call me out on that. I've genuine love for that woman as a human being and a competitor. So yes.
Oh yeah.
She would be ideal. I might have to, now that she chimed in, I might have to put her, just out of guilt ahead of those 2 knuckleheads, Bateman and Guy.
Thinks you're watching you. That's true. You got to give loyalty.
Well, I mean, let's face facts. I mean, she's a showstopper. I'll put it to you this way. Janine is like an Academy Award winner, right? She just glows, shines, kills on all levels. You can't really mess with that girl's game.
Yeah.
There you go.
Beast.
Good
stuff.
Love
in the dungeon now. There you go.
That'll cost you $25, machine. Shit ain't free. I got to keep the lights on in a dungeon. All right.
Speaking of that, what's the dungeon stocked with nowadays?
Well, obviously, obviously we only Zips on the keto. The rest of us can still eat cheeseburgers, Diet Dr. Pepper, Red Vines. All the staples are there. I'm moving on to this Guinness thing. I hear there's less alcohol, so that helps keep the mind sharper. I want to get the boys off of the rough stuff. But, a lot of Indian food these days because I hear the spices, revitalize the system and all that. So we're, the rest of us are on an Indian food diet, but the Zips on the keto.
There you go.
And all of the peppers to the dungeon, please.
Yeah, peppers good. Peppers kill everything. Peppers and garlic. At least that's what my grandmother told me.
Nice.
Smets, Oyama, Zipper, Janine, Silverstreet, Bateman.
Dungeon. Smets, Oyama, Zipper, Janine, Silverstreet. Rachel's definitely got a spot in my heart. I'm gonna be looking her way. Everybody knows that.
That's right there.
Everybody knows she's like I told you, she's the godfather of the Schmoedown. You don't want to walk into that. You walk into that woman's office, you don't walk out.
She definitely knows where the bodies are.
Unless she wants you to.
That's right.
No, she's the Vito Corleone of the Schmoedown, no doubt.
Agreed.
It's the ring, and you might survive.
Rachel is definitely the best. The whole Schmoedown love, the whole community is really fun. Did that kind of take you by surprise, like how big the entire Schmoedown community is, like once you got involved with it?
It is pretty shocking, I will say. And you walk in there day one, and it's like, holy shit. It's like The Simpsons, like all these freaking characters. And you have no idea how they're going to react to you. And, of course, I come in the room as the quintessential bull in the china shop. And some people are like, yeah. And it's like I think some people thought I was as much of a character in real life as I am, on the show, of course. But I think they learn. I come from the heart first. It's the compassion. I met a lot of people who are very similar. And I think, real talk, Janine, Hannah, Jay, you got to love Jay. Jay put me over. You got to give Jay respect. There's just a lot of good people in the league. And so it is fun and it's a privilege. And I couldn't ask for a better group of, new friends. Now, Tom Dagnino, sometimes I'm his friend. It depends on if if he's wanted by the law at the time, I'm not against. But if he needs a ride to the bus stop or needs to get a new pair of sweatpants, I'll drive him. But it really depends on the state he's in if I'm gonna be Tom's friend for the day. So it's you got to take his temperature. You know what I mean?
Makes absolute sense.
But yeah, a lot of good people, man. Rachel's great. I mean, she's one of the greatest champions of all time. One of the sweetest people you ever met. So she'll be a champion forever, right? Oh Lord, no, Christ, Jesus. Miss movies.
Only sad that you missed coming out a few weeks ago. You fell asleep and missed out on Frank's awesome dance moves.
Oh, Miss Movies. There will be other dance party nights. I ain't worried about that, Miss Movies.
Paul, do you have that clip?
I don't, unfortunately. I had a race to get off, and I had Frank dancing with Brandon in the background. It was pretty funny, but
it was funny.
Yes, unfortunately.
The legend, Brianne Chandler, chiming in, right?
Oh,
yes.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's Schmoedown royalty right there.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a big heart.
Oh, love a Miss Movies so much. Brianne is one of the sweetest people that I've ever met, and she's great. So
we have very similar tastes in music. I'll have you know, Brianne and I, we trade music. I send her a song like, what about this one? And then she sends me one. And so we got this we should have a music podcast.
You should.
You totally
Me
would.
and
I'd
Miss
do that right
Movies
away.
crush it like a song for because we come from different worlds, but we're both intellectuals and great, kind of, I don't know. That'd be a good idea for a Harloff music podcast. I don't know. Maybe he's going to need new shows. I don't know what he's doing over there.
He's got that network.
If he doesn't give me a show, then I'm leaving. I'll put it to that way. That's going in my contract. It's like this new network, this SCN, it's getting blown up like it's it's like cable coming for the first time. And if I don't get a show, I'm leaving. I don't care about you, Christian. You're my friend. But if you don't give me a show, I'm going to be here next year.
Oh, there you go.
You heard it here first, folks.
So what kind of music do you share with Miss Movies? What are your similar tastes?
Sadly, I can't share any of my heavy metal tastes with Brianne Chandler. I did send her a Pantera song the other day, but
Love Pantera.
She was like, yeah, no.
No.
Well, you want me to tell you? I mean, I got to go on my phone. I'll tell you the last 3 songs I sent Miss Movies.
A lot of the times, whenever you come out from the Schmoedown with any of your competitors, you always have a shirt on, like a specific band shirt on. Do you think about that, or is that just what you wore that day?
I kind of dress like that anyways. But no, I absolutely try to think about like how I want to come out. You know what I mean? Because like with Smets, that's that Beastie Boys New York thing. That's kind of how I always said to Smets, like, I always want to come in. I want to go out of this league the way we came in. No frills, no bullshit. So I kind of keep it kind of with Paul. You'll notice I try and rock the red and black because those are like I think Paul's colors are like red and black. So I try and rock the red and black. That's why the Slipknot shirt when he won the championship was freaking perfect.
Nice.
That was a good one. I grew up on hip hop and heavy metal. So, I love Beastie Boys, EPMD, Public Enemy. And then in the metal world, I love Clutch and Queens of the Stone Age and Caius and Pantera. Metallica was my first concert ever. So yeah, all that heavy metal shit comes from a real place,
Right.
New York, too. You're from New York. You got a lot of punk influences coming out of there.
All right, I'm gonna tell you the last song I sent Miss Movies, and I'll tell you the one she sent me.
She says you can share heavy metal with her, by the way. That's what she said in the chat. You can send her some heavy metal.
She's full of shit. Okay, so I sent her Pat Benatar, Precious Time.
Nice.
Nice.
Big Pat Benatar fan from way back. And she sent me back. Oh, wait. She sent me back this tune she digs from this movie I've never seen. Sing Street. I don't know if that's the movie or the song. Hold on.
That's the movie.
Probably the movie.
Is that a movie?
Yeah.
It is.
Yes,
It is.
movie,
We were in a
it's
car
like
one day and she was rocking this jam, and far be it from me to be into Disney musicals and shit, but I'm like, that's a good song. And so she sent it to me.
Her and Stacey Howard love that movie.
Yeah, she sent me a song from that. So there you go. Me and Miss Movies, trade music.
Awesome.
But you said Metallica was your first concert?
Mm-hmm.
How old are you and how was that?
Like, I don't know you that well. Talked about age and shit, whatever. I saw you pouring wine earlier before the thing started, so I think you feel like you're warming up to me.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. But first concert, it was the Black Album. I'll say that much.
Okay.
And what was great about that show is Metallica had no opening act, so they almost played damn near 3 hours. And I'm like, Jesus, it's like Bruce Springsteen but the heavy metal version. Because I seen Springsteen 3 hours plus. Never seen anybody do that in my life. I think I saw a Springsteen concert in Buffalo. The man did 3 hours and 20 minutes. And I'm like, what planet is this guy from? But yes, the first Metallica show they played by themselves, no opening act, which I thought was a baller move, you know.
Yeah,
the Black Album's not that great, but look at this guy. Okay, Mike's sneaking in there trying to pin things down.
Yeah, but they've been playing it for years, so it could have been like 2000 or 2001. Who knows?
Thank you, Bill. It could have gone that way.
No, I've always been the type of person that believes that your first concert kind of, if you go watch a specific band at a specific age, like if you were to go and see Metallica when you were like 12 for the first time, that's got to have a big impact on you for the rest of your life, as opposed to when you watch Metallica for the first time when you're 20.
I agree. Like, you know, you learn how to ride a bike with that metal up your ass t-shirt from the Ride the Lightning era or whatever, and then you build a shed 48 years later with the same t-shirt on. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
No, I'm with you on that. My cousin was a DJ, and that's how I got into hip-hop.
Nice.
And that's how I found Beasties and Run DMC and EPMD, a lot of the Def Jam stuff at probably the age of 12 in the golden era of hip-hop.
New York rap.
Yeah, I did start, but then I found out about NWA, and I'm like, what is going on out there? Those guys are onto something. But the heavy metal, that's high school, playing football. We were all, you know, Pantera, Metallica were, you know, close to God for us. So,
for that,
of course,
your boy came in, decided to show up,
jet lagged and half asleep, but woke up to send my love to my manager. See you tomorrow at work, Bob. Jesus Christ. He must have had a good time. That sounded way too pleasant. I don't ever want him coming into a match that nice.
I'm surprised you let him.
Flattery, Bob. Obviously, we need to get back to work now that you're well rested from your trip with the Griswolds over in Prague or wherever you were.
Excellent reference. Excellent.
I love you, Smetty. Next IG champion of the world right there.
Definitely. Speaking of
Kaiser, who's your favorite lyricist? Shit, that's a good question. Lyricist, Eminem all day.
I knew you were going to say that.
Can't go
I like
wrong.
Big Daddy Kane. That's my man.
Big Daddy's great. No, I'm too. Yeah, I'm very. Look, growing up on Def Jam, it's hard for me to not say Chuck D.
Yeah,
be up there.
Nas. That's a New York kid.
I love Nas. No, I love Nas. I love Wu-Tang, but there's 95 lyricists in that band. I got to go with them. At the end of the day, I love them.
All right.
Sure.
So, Bobby Gucci.
It obviously has like.
Well, he is kind of a lyricist. He's more of a poet. And when I mean that, I mean a out-of-work poet that at a bus stop.
Yes.
Talking to passerby and people feeding pigeons.
Definitely looks like a starving artist.
Oh, yeah. Bobby Gucci. You know, let's be real about Bobby Gucci. He is the greatest manager that ever lived in the Schmoedown. You can say what you want about him, but he is. He will forever be the greatest that ever is. No matter what I do, which is win, he will still be the number one. You know what I mean? You can't take that guy off his throne. But I'm going to beat his ass this year again.
That's what we want to hear. That's what you got to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he's been there for a long time. Do you go back and watch any of the old Schmoedown stuff?
A little bit when Harloff says, "What do you mean you haven't seen that match?" Then, yeah, I got to go watch the match.
Yeah.
How have you not seen Knapsack versus the kid whose name I forget in the Star Wars match? It's the greatest match of all time. I got to go watch the match. You know, I mean, it's what he said. I got to do it. Whatever.
There you go.
Schmoedown obviously has like some wrestling elements or storylines to it. Does that? I mean, yeah, right. Does that?
Guys walking around with
you enjoy
picks and all that shit? You know what I mean? Like
That's a good question. Then I know you're wrestling.
I'm sorry, Bill. I cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, is that something you enjoy about the Schmoedown, and like, does that help you like get into the Schmoedown? Because that was a big thing for me, was like the wrestling storylines that they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, some people who might know this, some people don't, but I kind of grew up around the world of pro wrestling. Bobby the Brain Heenan was my father's best friend, and that's not just something I'm throwing out there and name dropping. My dad and Bobby Heenan were very, very, very close, and so I got to go to a lot of matches and be in the locker rooms, and by way of that, I got to meet Hawk and Animal from the Legion of Doom, and I've been slapped in the chest by Hawk, and I've been to strip clubs in Florida with Hawk, and it is what it is. I could have said a bar, but let's not let's be real, so I've hung out with these guys, and just because my dad's career was he was a Major League Baseball umpire, and so those pro sports overlap even with wrestling. And my dad did some wrestling when he was in the minor league, actually, to supplement his income in a very Coen Brothers backwoods American Legion Hall way. My dad was a guy you'd call in Western New York when someone got arrested in Canada and couldn't do the match. Call this, what 6'3", 280-pound guys do you know in the Niagara Falls area? But so through that, my dad met a lot of wrestling. He did it. It was a quick thing, it was a jobber, total quick thing. But he still had lasting friendships from those few years he did it. And so Heenan was my idol growing up as a kid. Most people loved Hulk Hogan and shit. Bobby was the greatest because I saw him as a stand-up comedian, and more than anything, an entertainer. And so heavily influenced by that guy, and he's the most quick-witted dude I've ever met in my life, hands down. Oh yeah. And Hawk and Animal for obvious reasons. I mean, what nobody ever came to wrestling as a tag team and demolished people and the microphone. They were just the greatest ever. I'll tell you one quick story. I was out with the Legion of Doom once, and we were at a club, and I was a kid, but I could get in because I was with baseball players and wrestlers. When I say kid, probably 9th grade, 10th grade. And so Hawk and Animal are throwing lawn furniture off the or bar front, outside patio furniture off the roof of a club. And they were keeping score about who could hit more cars with the chairs. And as a 9th, 10th grade, these are your role models, really? About 9 security guards come rushing up the stairs like the CIA or some shit, like it was 0 Dark 30. They come crashing through, 10 guys, and they look at these two cretins, and then they look at my dad, and they're like, "Can you please tell your friends to calm down?" They wanted nothing to do with these dudes. And as they walked out, I saw Hawk write a check, give it to the owner of the club. And then for no reason at all, he turned to me, he looked at me, he slapped me in the chest, and he said, "Get in the gym, your chest feels like a coffee table." And that was the last I saw of him for the night.
Have you used that?
Does wrestling have any effect on my Schmoedown persona? Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a favorite Bobby Heenan quote, from when he was commentating or managing?
Absolutely. He said it's to the effect of the welcome to town and the state line is the same sign. He'd be like, "Oh, here we are in Evansville, Indiana, where the county line and the state line is the same sign." Just to make fun of how podunk it was of a town. That one always made me laugh.
That's fun.
Oh, he's so great.
The Ham and Eggers lines are always good.
Ham and Eggers. Oh, yeah. I just recently watched an old episode of whatever their little show was with Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan. I forget the name of it, but they did a switcheroo where they put Piper in the Bobby Heenan seat with Gorilla Monsoon, and Bobby was broadcasting from another studio down the hall, and he was with Rick Rude, and they would just spar back, and you'd see Bobby and Piper spar back and forth multi screens. You know what I mean? Like Bobby's in one corner, Piper's. And it is the most brilliant thing you've ever seen, because those are the two greatest ever to take the mic in pro wrestling. So if you can YouTube that, Bobby Heenan, Roddy Piper go at each other, whatever. But that was I watched that recently just because I get nostalgic, man. I get nostalgic like everybody else. You know?
I actually did the same thing the other day. Ed Haskell in the chat is bringing up one of my favorite moments when the Rockers split and Michael's threw Jannetty through the barbershop window, and then Bobby Heenan comes up and goes, "Look at that coward Jannetty! Try to run through the window to get away from him."
So good.
Something like that.
Oh my God!
I literally used the same line when Ben Bateman got put through the table. I was like, Ben Bateman just threw himself through a table.
Let me tell you something. If Ben Bateman doesn't win you over with his trivia knowledge, bashing a guy over the head with a chair, dude, he went to the top of it. I was like, okay, that guy. Before I was even friends with him, I'm like, yeah, that guy.
That's the guy.
That guy.
That was awesome.
It's
We all
actually-
got to watch that live, so that was really cool.
It's actually
they're both super great dudes, and I'll tell you, you were asking about the friendship and all that, and meeting people, the Schmoedown. Like Ben and Guy have been just great dudes. Like they're like the sophomores on the football team, and you're the freshman, and they welcomed you in and broke your balls, and you know. But cool dudes for sure.
That's awesome. Well,
that's why I'm gonna draft them, of course.
Of course.
You're here first.
on there. That was a big thing for a lot of us because I think a lot of people who are involved with the Action Army now were fans of Ben and Drew. Schmoedown definitely got it there, but there was a good core base of fans who knew them outside of the Schmoedown, so knew who these guys were. So it's really fun to see those different types of personalities come in. Like when you and Kevin Smets came into the game, you two kind of came on together as personalities in its own way. And it's been really fun to see the Schmoedown kind of go in this whole journey with characters. Like we've seen John Roca's evolution as the Outlaw. We've seen Mike Kalinowski's revolution as KO and all of that stuff. But it's so much fun when you know that these personalities are not actually who they are outside of the Schmoedown. I think that's what makes it the most fun. And I think that's what makes yours and Smets' dynamic so good because you two, he's the quiet, you're the voice. And I loved that. I thought that
which is hysterical because Kevin is not a quiet individual.
No.
I am actually impressed with how much he's been able to not break character, like when he stay in character, because he laughs at everything. That kid will laugh at anything.
Listen, let's be real. You got it all wrong. You're talking about this character, this and that. What you see with us is the real thing. Okay, you see versions of us and shades of us. But someone asked Zipper the other day, Zipper was saying, like, someone came up to me and goes, "Is Kaiser really like that?" And he let it hang for a minute, and the Zipper goes, "Yeah, pretty much." And that Zipper, like he's an Easy Rider or some shit. "Yeah, pretty much." So when you talk about this, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a real life hitman. He really is too. Like that's a guy. Like I do believe he has a side job, taking out ex-boyfriends and shit. But anyways, no. What you get?
That contact information.
When you get what you get with me and Smets is the real deal. Like he's a killer. He's going to go in that ring. He's going to beat you. In any game, anything Smets participates in, he's going to win. He's going to be the best. He's going to go at you 1,000%. He's a freaking. He was a monster when he wants to be. So cut that. Let's be real about that. So this is a game. This is a real game, and he wants to win, and he does win. And so when you put a guy's friend like me with him, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure he wins. Am I going to play the game? Am I going to have fun on screen and camera and do all the theatrics? Of course. But at the end of the day, we're going to have that belt at the end of 2019. That is happening. And that's because we came in here to do that. Like, yes, I'm a friend of Harloff's. And yes, I dig the Schmoedown. And yes, Kevin Smets is one of my dear friends. But at the end of the day, we want to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
We know. I mean, we do. We absolutely do. And we're going to win. And that's what's going to happen.
That's what I just put up there. Melissa says that Zipper told us that during the Haley match that you paced back and forth. It's just like got up in his face. Tell him, calm the fuck down.
I'm trying to read that. That's funny, man.
Zipper's
great, man. Zipper was the final piece of the puzzle. I didn't feel like I had a faction until I got him, man. Because I just had, he was. I I think he's like the rug in Lebowski. He ties the room together.
Zipper is the rug. That's a new. I think it's a new hashtag. Zipper is the rug.
Lebowski.
Really quickly, this is such a terrible transition, but your dad was an umpire for the MLB. I come from a baseball family. Baseball. I love to be around baseball and talk baseball as much as I can. I saw a post on your Facebook about Ken Griffey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Griffey Jr. is one of my all-time favorite baseball players, and
one of the most genuine, nicest dudes. In addition to his talent, but go ahead.
That's what I was kind of asking about, like, to not being starstruck in any sort of way, but was there any specific player who you got to meet that just kind of blew you away in that sort of aspect? Because you got to grow up around this, so you kind of grew up around Ken Griffey and other players and stuff like that. Is there any particular player that just kind of just blew your mind when you met them?
Well, yeah, all right, that's a two-part question. I'll try and be quick about it. George Brett, to me, was the most iconic ball player I've ever met in my life. So if we're talking icons, I met Cal Ripken, and that was, yes, like a 4-year-old meeting Mickey Mouse. Okay, I get it. That's Cal Ripken. But Brett, to me, was like a cowboy. This is a guy who was in a whole nother league. He was a ball breaker. He always had fun. He was like a stand-up comedian. So him and my dad were very close. And I'd say Brett was my favorite. Even being a Yankee fan, Brett was always my like favorite personality in baseball. That said, Don Mattingly was my idol growing up. Still friends with Don Mattingly to this day. He was everything to me. As a kid, he was like my hero. Where Brett felt like I was like, okay, I want to be like him when I grow up. He was like a cowboy. He straight up was like out of Young Guns. Like George Brett would have been in the movie Young Guns if he wasn't a baseball player. So, but you bring up Griffey. It's similar. Me and Griffey had a similar experience because his dad would bring him to the ballpark. My dad would bring me to the ballpark. I knew him a little bit as kids. So when he grew up and turned 19 and made $390 million, he was still the same kid that I knew when he was 12. Like, no change in personality.
That's amazing.
He'd like knock on the door of the umpire's dressing room, like, you want to go play horse? Like, they'd have a basketball court or a basketball hoop that they'd pull out in the 7th inning. Like, oh, look, some lucky fan is going to shoot 6 hoops and win, McDonald's gift certificates or whatever. But that basketball hoop would sit behind the visiting team's dressing room in Toronto, which was next door to the umpire's dressing room. So me and Griffey Jr. are out there playing horse before the game, and Lou Piniella comes out yelling at us like, "Get the fuck back in here! What are you stop fucking around with Kaiser's kid? You're gonna roll your ankle. What the fuck are we gonna do this season? You go out on a horse injury, you dumb." And he literally walks by me like he's 11 years old, like, "Sorry, Kaiser, I gotta go." Like, You gotta go. You're playing for the Seattle Mariners. Yeah, I get it. You gotta go.
You gotta go. That's
sorry, guys.
So what was always cool about Griffey, he would always stop by and say hello. So that's why I love that dude. He would and then because of Griffey, I became friends with Jay Buhner.
Oh, nice.
And Joey Cora and all those Seattle dudes were like my favorite. Like, it got to a point where I'm like, why is Ichiro my favorite player? I'm a Yankee fan. Like, this is Griffey infected me with the Seattle Mariners like thing. But then Buhner's coming by knocking on the dressing room door. How's football going? Like, good, bud. Like, Jay Buhner's asking me about football. It's pretty amazing. So I was lucky in that regard. I was very lucky to get to meet those guys at such a young age. And, it's kind of like that big – it's funny because I told – this one umpire got mad at me once. He was like his first year in the league, and I started eating like a sandwich before the game, before the other umpires got to eat. He's like, "What are you doing? You got to wait. You don't eat the sandwiches before the other umpires eat this." I go, "What are you talking about? I've been in the big leagues longer than you. I'll eat a sandwich." I'm in like 8th grade. You know what I mean? Like,
I've been here.
And my dad's like, "What the fuck did you say to Cedarstrom?" I'm like, "I don't know. I told him I've been in the big leagues longer than he is," which is true. So
you big leagued him. You big leagued him.
Yeah, in 8th grade.
Nice.
Oh, man.
I didn't even know what the Cuban Missile Crisis was at the time, but I knew that I could eat a sandwich.
Where did this confidence you have come from?
Yeah, I wonder.
Well, now has come the time in our little show where we do a segment that we've done every chilled action so far. We call it This or That. I'm going to name out two things, and you're going to tell me which one you prefer. Now, why you prefer it is up to you. What it's about, it could be anything you want to be about. If I say something like Billy versus Danny.
Am I in therapy or is this an interview? What's going on?
This is exactly.
A little bit of both.
We're going to go deeper.
Analyze your answers. And
we got Perrier to endorse the dungeon. They decided to change their bottles green just to celebrate the Smashers run this year.
There you go. Nice.
Or maybe they've always been green. I don't know, but keep going.
Okay. I'm waiting for the Smasher Heineken in the mail. I'm waiting for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's gonna be
so this or that. We're playing this or that.
We're playing this or that. The first one we always ask. There's a couple questions we always ask. Then we try to tailor it more towards you, towards the guest. But the first one we ask is, as an action podcast, are you team Guy or are you team Trader?
What the fuck kind of question is that? You mean am I Hannah or Guy?
Oh, Guy or Bateman?
Oh, Guy or Bateman.
In the Civil War. Guy versus Bateman.
How the hell are you going to ask me that question? Shit, I'll go with Bateman because he hit the other guy with a chair.
Not the right answer, but the reason why I'll give you points for it because the chair hitting is pretty fucking sweet.
Come on, look who you're talking to.
All right, here's one.
Believe me, you're talking to a guy who really digs Guy's, career.
I'm
a fan.
You're Broca.
Brandon says he is no traitor, by the way, just so you know.
He's on his own planet. He's like a bad guy in the next Bond movie. He might kill your cat tonight while you're sleeping. You don't know what he's gonna do.
Where's my cat?
Wow.
Watch out.
That past Brandon.
What kind of comes in with those gloves? This weirdo. Crazy. He'd do well in the dungeon just because of the weird factor. Walking around looking like he's gonna do your taxes and choke you at the same time.
Nice, I like that. All right.
He's Ben Affleck and the accountant.
Perfect. Yeah, it's actually perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I don't know how much you've ever watched our show before, but we have a call to action podcast host, James Spence, or a gaping chest wound.
Jesus Christ. I don't even understand. What is it about James Spence I'm weighing? You mean like hanging out with him? Like, what is the question?
Up to you.
Do I hang out with James Spence or get a gunshot wound to the chest?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Well, since I always wear a bulletproof vest because I'm not stupid, I'll take the gunshot.
That was the right answer. That's every answer so far. Everybody's been doing that. Good. That's perfect. So
my favorite answer might have been William Bibiani's answer to that question, where he said James Spence with the gaping chest wound.
The gaping chest wound.
Interesting. That sounds about right for him.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
I hope he gets to the end of this thing because I would love for Paul to beat his ass.
Oh, that would be insane to watch. William Bibiani versus Paul Oyama.
That I think would be a phenomenal match for the ages.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt.
You'll lose, but it'll be a good match.
Marking it down.
That's right.
I got two names for you. Lou or Ralph?
That's easy, Lou.
You like Lou better? Okay.
Of course. I don't know. Fucking Ralph is the guy who bags your groceries and trips over his untied shoes.
Well, hopefully Burnett will learn your name.
Lou at least knows how to make some money.
Also knows how to make a mean meatball sandwich, I think.
He does. He knows where to get the good meatballs in town.
All right.
I got a feeling you know where to get the good meatballs in town with that that's a meatball mustache you got.
Absolutely.
Who are you kidding?
I'll tell you all the good joints. My father actually made that was Italian restaurant growing up, so I know all the good
Shocking because of your last name, but go on.
Okay. I know I saw you mentioned Joker on your Facebook chat or the thread the other day. So Joaquin Phoenix or Heath Ledger?
Don't even play with my emotions right now. There's only one Joker, and his name is Heath Ledger.
Ah, sweet. Okay. Fair enough.
That movie Joker, I'm sorry, spoiler alert, has no suspense.
It's
suspenseless.
I agree with that. It's pretty much Taxi Driver, King of Comedy.
Pretty much.
The movie is fine. The movie
is beautiful. I'll tell you, beautiful. I mean, you read the thing. If you read the thing, I said cinematography. Go see it in the big theater. Go see it on the big screen just for that.
Right.
Beautiful performance. I get it. Movie left me kind of like, yeah, good movie. However, when I watch Heath, what is this guy going to do next? What is he going to say next? Like, it felt like a living comic book. And I know that wasn't the point here, but you guys know what I mean.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I will say that Heath only had to play the Joker. Joaquin has to play an arc.
Truth.
That's very true, actually. I'll give you
That's
that
a
too.
very good point. That
Yeah.
I would agree that your character that you're endorsing has more of an arc to consider, and certainly. But to me, I've seen that arc. I've seen that. I look. All great directors steal is the quote, right? Man, that was a little too close to the bone, man. I saw Network. I saw Taxi Driver. I saw King of Comedy, and
Right.
Scorsese produced it, and it's like, oh, great, you did a great trick. You made a great Scorsese. You made the Scorsese's version of the Joker. God bless you. And a good movie. And I can't say, I wouldn't say a bad thing about it. I'll just say we all go to the movies to be in suspense. Is he going to get the girl? Is the girl going to get the girl? Is the guy going to kill the bad guys? Right? Is the what? I don't know. I knew exactly what was going to happen in that movie. Saw the end coming a mile away. So why am I supposed to be so in suspense and so into this? Save the word masterpiece for movies like Amelie and The Godfather. That's all I'm saying.
Amelie, good stuff. That's true.
That's
Fair enough.
John Kaiser talked about Amelie. That's a whole episode on
One of the greatest movies that I've ever seen.
It's a beautiful movie.
All right. Golden era wrestling, like 80s Hulk Hogan era, or the Attitude era?
Oh, 80s all the way. I mean, it embodied the spirit of the times. Hulk Hogan was Ronald Reagan's champion. Which is
nobody
he gravitated towards the Roddy Pipers and the Bobby Heenans and the heels and the more interesting characters, but
Well, based on your music selections, of course you're going to pick the rock and wrestling era.
you know that.
A little bit of a softball, but everybody likes the Attitude era. I always go back and go, yeah, but that's where the meat and potatoes was.
It was fun. It was. Listen, they brought a lot of value to the game. I would never speak ill of that generation, but I mean, come on, the 80s. Again, living coloring book. I like to say, like I don't know. Like, to me, I'll put it to you this way: they were like real life superheroes. Like the Wu-Tang Clan to me is like real life superheroes, just like the Heart Foundation were. And Macho. I don't know. There's just something about these characters and these personalities, and I'm biased, but
Okay, fair enough. I got 4 more for you. Now we all like
mashed potatoes or cheese and gravy. We're getting back to the food. Eggplant parmesan or chicken parmesan.
Go ahead, go with that. I'll
Eggplant parmesan is my favorite dish in the world because that's when Italians ate like peasants, right? That's all we got. Is this egg. We don't even know what this thing is. It looks like a fucking oval bowling ball. We're gonna eat this thing.
You didn't even know what
if you slice it thin and grill it right. Paul, you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to go into this shit.
Oh no, the grandma right my alley right there.
Slice nice and thin, Paul. They stack it.
Oh,
blackjacks. That's how real Italians do it. You get eggplant parmesan in LA, it's like a hockey puck. I'm like, what am I gonna do with this?
That's the thing about eggplant parmesan. When it's good, it's amazing. When it's bad, it's so bad.
Right.
I'm trying to wonder how you know that with the Belford. Irish, Scott, whatever. I don't even know what you are. What are you?
You might not be able to see the fortune that you have. I will eat anything, sir.
Paul, this guy's going to try and tell me how to make eggplant parmesan. He's running around with a kilt. Going to watch Braveheart on the big screen.
With the sword coming out.
Cabbage afterwards.
Hey, stuffed cabbage is amazing. Stuffed cabbage is amazing.
I do love that. I do.
Yeah, so let's have this on the cabbage.
Spade is spade. I do love some goddamn. Yes, corned beef and cabbages.
Oh my God.
Perfect.
We only have 3 ingredients. We only have tortillas, cheese, and chicken, and that's it.
And the magic trick your folk pull off is that it tastes like the first time you've ever ate it every day.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, seriously, like when you get Mexican food, you're like, I've never had this. If you've had it right, like, what is this taco? Like,
it's true. Yeah.
Well, truth be told, and Paul can vouch for me, chili relleno is the Mexican eggplant parmesan.
It's very true.
That is very true.
100% true.
I like that.
Very similar. Very similar
cultures. Because I'm not a big fan of chili relleno, but if it's made right, I'll eat it. I'll only eat it from specific households. Like, really, like only certain grandmas can make that.
The abuela.
Yeah, well,
that's a lot of similarities you see in older Mexican restaurants and older Italian restaurants. It is the grandmother back there cooking, and that's how you know what time it is.
Yep.
Hands down.
I had some, Paul, we tripe at Christmas time, whatever. No one eats tripe. They ate tripe in Italy because they had no food. They had to eat the stomach lining of the cow. But like I had a weird tripe soup in a Mexican restaurant recently. I forget what they called it, menudo or something.
Menudo, yeah. Menudo.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Boy band?
Menudo is a boy band and a great stew, apparently.
Okay. That's what I got the name from.
It's menudo season. I'm sorry. We're getting into cold weather. It's menudo. Anyone who comes to South Texas, y'all want to hang out, I will make you some menudo.
Ooh, that's the real deal.
Very
similar. I'll tell you, Mexicans and Italians, very similar culture.
Oh, very
Yeah.
nice.
The most beautiful people on the planet are Italians and Mexicans. Let's just be real about that. It ain't where the Belfords come from. That's for sure.
See you guys later.
Sorry, Bill. You're out. See you later, Bill. He's gone for now.
That's what I aim to do is lose. Here's what I try and do. Talk till you guys all leave, and then I can go to bed.
Challenge accepted. Hold my beer.
Challenge accepted. Hold my wine.
All right. 3 more quick ones. We all love Back to the Future. I know you love Back to the Future. But everyone, what I want to know is Back to the Future Part 2 or Back to the Future Part 3?
Come on with these questions. It's 2 all day.
2 all day.
Yes.
Thank you.
It
I
is.
have people telling me 3 all day.
Listen, you know what number 3 is? At best, the special features that come with the DVD.
It's a repeat. It's just a repeat of everything that's been done over and over at that
Thank
point.
you.
So
I think Back to the Future could be the greatest movie of all time.
it's definitely one of the most rewatchable.
People want to talk to, the Citizen Kanes and the Godfather 2s, and I get it. These people aren't wrong, but there's just something about Back to the Future that resonates. Oh, fuck off, Smetsy. There's something about that movie that resonates to me across all cultures, all time. It's something, I don't know, man. Something about it. Who's Smet's answer? Why didn't go with it? Top Gun? I mean, I love Top Gun too, Smets, but I mean, what's his movie? What's your greatest movie of all time?
Green Lantern, I believe. I think it's Green Lantern.
Oh, yeah. No, that's certainly not it. But the first,
That's 2 of the greatest movies of all time.
Is one of these. Well, we know that. Yes, it is one.
I think
perfect.
he was talking about that 3 is better than. He says that Back to the Future 3 was better than Back to the Future 2. That's what his argument was.
3 is a good movie.
Oh, so I'm sorry.
3 is a good movie.
I read the pop-up emoji wrong. I'm not used to talking to a fucking text message, but now I get your point. Metsy, now I get your point. Now I get your point.
Now he says what he says.
Glory, that's right. Glory's his favorite movie. I knew that. If I was asked that question, dude, that's a powerful film.
Classic.
And my man Morgan's in it, so I'm biased. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King is a great. You know what, Hannah? Go to bed. I don't want to hear anything about that shit with the wizards and warlocks. I don't give a shit.
Rachel
really
Cushing loves that.
Well, actually,
warlocks.
Going back, I almost put up before, but Kevin Smith says he's got something he wants to do with you at some point. Let me go back and find it real quick. There you go.
Rob a bank?
Can we live stream that?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna jump into the back of the school bus like Heath Ledger did when we do. I remember I saw that movie in the theater by myself, and after the movie ended, I walked back in just to watch that heist again. I was like, this is one of the nastiest openings to a film I've ever seen. Like, to me, Private Ryan, there will be no opening of a movie better than that, period, in the history of cinema. That is the greatest first 20 minutes. What you say about the movies, but the first 20, 30, however many minutes Normandy was, you can't top that. But this, I was like, holy shit, I need to watch that again. And then I left.
Yeah.
So I probably had something more important to do than see the fucking movie.
True. That's a good call. Good call.
I like Dark Knight Rises opening too. That's another great opening.
That's pretty good.
Not as good as the bank robbery scene, but it's like
we talk about the Tom Hardy movie.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
What a horrible act 3. What a horrible act 3.
But the opening is great.
They'd be ashamed of themselves. Christopher Nolan couldn't write an act 3 if you know, Bill Goldman wrote it for him. And I love Chris Nolan, but God, he cannot finish a movie to save his life. Inception. I'm like, what am I watching? A video game? I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. There's people skiing down it. It's like a fucking G.I. Joe or something at the end. He should stop hiring his brother to write movies. There's talented people out there.
There you go.
Yeah. There's script doctors. Just get a script doctor to come in and cross up the third
Ellen
act.
Page is running around dressed up like Paddington Bear. I didn't know what was going on in that movie.
We love her, Bill Goldberg. Goldberg.
Bill Goldman. Isn't that what I said? Or did I say Goldberg?
You said Goldberg at first.
Oh, that was a wrestling Freudian slip.
Exactly. There you go.
I know who Bill Goldman is, asshole. Don't challenge me.
Okay, I got two more. The Rock, famed wrestler or actor, or The Rock, the film.
Well, I guess I gotta go with the movie, The Rock, of course, for Sean Connery. I mean, you don't not side with Sean Connery over The Rock.
And my boy Ed Harris. Sorry, I gotta say that.
Oh, Ed Harris is in there. Well, The Right Stuff is one of my favorite movies of all time. I watch it every year. I watch 2 movies every year.
John, do you know about Paul's hair stunts?
Paul's what?
I watch every movie in the Ed Harris filmography as a project of mine. I call it the Harris stunts.
You do this every year?
No, God, no. It's 79 films. I did it once. Even I could.
Holy shit.
Watch every movie that Ed Harris was in.
There's a lot of lotion involved.
That's serious business, pal.
It is pretty serious business.
I want to ask a question.
Okay, absolutely.
My turn.
Wow, first one.
All right. So, Danny, you're first. You ready? If you could pick a double feature for your family and friends, one night only, pack the theater, what 2 movies are you showing?
Wow. Okay.
And this could change tomorrow.
This absolutely could change tomorrow. But being a little wine drunk right now, I'm gonna go ahead and fuck everyone up, and I'm gonna go ahead and put The Shining as my first film for that.
I love it.
And then
greatest horror movie of all time. That and Halloween.
Thank you. Shining's gonna be first, and then I would like, just to stay on that same sort of kick and just to bum everyone out and just to fuck everyone's brains up, I'm gonna put 01 after that. Just y'all have to be here for another 4 hours, okay?
01.
Okay. What is 01?
2001: A Space Odyssey. Sorry.
Oh, 2000.
Oh,
that is that's
Sorry,
about.
I have a relationship with Stanley Kubrick where I just called 2001: A Space Odyssey 01.
Well, he's the greatest filmmaker that ever lived, so
you.
You're justified. All right, Bill, you're going Braveheart and some other IRA movie.
I'm Norwegian, thank you. No, I'm going The Princess Bride to start out. Nice, light, fun. And my favorite movie of all time is Goodfellas. I watch it like once a month at least.
So far, you guys have said movies that would be in my top 5, the both of you.
Yes.
Now I'm gonna fuck it up.
Oh, here comes Paulie D. He's like, analyze this 1 and 2.
Should I say Captain America? Kevin Smith wants me to say Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Oh, that's a bad movie.
You want me to ask your opinion? I'll answer that question. So
the winter dozer.
The winter dozer.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't put that on there myself. I'd love it. It's Kevin's favorite. He wanted me to ask you about that, though.
Yeah, well, he knows what he's baiting me.
As only good friends can do. I would say The Godfather Part 2.
Yes.
And Casino.
Ooh, I like that.
That's kind of like bringing the weird cousin to the party.
Well, you know what?
It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. Sharon Stone crushes along. I mean, like Sharon Stone gives the best performance of anybody in that film.
Oh, absolutely, by far. I probably actually would have said Goodfellas. I just didn't want to copy both and Godfather and Goodfellas. But I'll take Casino as the alternate.
All right. Well. This question, I'm going to answer, and this changes every day. You ask me tomorrow, it's going to change. But the answer I typically give when asked this question is I open with The Bicycle Thief, and I end with The Blues Brothers.
Wow!
Oh, yes!
Wow!
But
so good.
That's a great answer.
But that said,
it's such a unique movie in cinema in general that's such a good movie to start off with, especially if anyone in the audience doesn't understand the behind the stuff for The Bicycle Thief.
Yeah,
that's great. And
there's no more human film I've ever seen in my life.
Because
it breaks me down every time I see it.
Absolutely. 100% agree with that. And then fucking Blues Brothers, what a great movie. Oh, I love
action, you get comedy, you get musicals.
I saw that movie for the first time last year.
Oh wow.
I was in my 30s when I watched that movie for the first time.
I mean, shit, I didn't see Jaws till I was 20 something. It was weird. But listen, tomorrow it could probably be Big Trouble in Little China and Blade Runner. You never know.
Absolutely.
Something Carpenter.
I have a question for you, Kaiser. So you're clearly a fan of like comedy geniuses. If you could get another movie from either Belushi, Farley, or John Candy, who would you pick?
I think you do the Three Amigos Part 2, the fat version.
I'm on board for that.
Get all three of them. No, I mean, Belushi's my idol. Like, my two favorite people in the history of cinema are Charlie Chaplin and John Belushi. My answer is gonna be Belushi all day.
Belushi has my single favorite moment in movie history. It's in Animal House when the guy's playing the guitar on the stairs.
Oh,
smashes it, which is great.
Yeah.
But then him going sorry and just handing it back. It's so perfect.
Yeah, no, that is one of the you can't really beat Belushi ever. I don't know. I mean, look, Candy's great. Of course, all these guys, Farley, are great, but Belushi had a very human, characteristic to him, very emotional and very compassionate. Like, if you've read his book and the book about him, there's a guy who wrote the Watergate book. I forget his name. One of those assholes, but whatever. Yeah. Great book. But he was just an endearing human being, and something about him just you saw a side of himself coming through his characters. And I'm not taking that away from anybody else, but as a comedian, I think, when you see that raw emotion come through, it's impressive.
Hell yeah.
Candy had the timing. He was a vaudevillian kind of act. Like, you couldn't fuck with that. You know what I mean? They all had their own, and Farley's going to fall through a coffee table better than anybody that ever lived. So they all had their own, Candy was the trained vaudevillian, and Farley was the slapstick, and Belushi was very Chaplin-esque to me, actually. So, there you go.
There you go.
Oh, the scene in Animal House when he's running across the lawn and falls and gets up and does this, that's Charlie Chaplin. That's basically
Agreed.
You could see Charlie Chaplin doing that.
Yeah. City Lights would probably be in that double feature conversation at some point. I mean, that's the first romantic comedy of all time, as far as I'm concerned. It's probably the greatest, Yeah. What's the one with Hepburn when she's working in the museum? That's a good one too.
Oh,
Cary Grant, Hepburn, right?
I can't remember the name of it.
Goddamn good movie. What is it?
I don't know. I just said Schmoedown. I don't know.
I'll think of it. But anyways, yeah. So okay, I'm glad I got to ask you guys a question.
Yeah, we actually got some couple features in the chat. We should Matt's birthday today, by the way. So happy birthday!
Happy birthday,
Scarface is good, fellas.
Scarface,
good call. You can't mess with Scarface felt like a damn documentary. That was so shocking about that movie. At the time, you're like, Jesus, is this a PBS documentary with murder? Like, that's what Scarface did to me at that time.
Miami's no joke.
12 Angry Men and Warrior.
Ooh.
I like
12 Angry Men's great. Warrior, I'm a fan of it. But look, everyone's different. Like, and again, it changes tomorrow. Jurassic Park. Wow, another Warrior. A lot of Tom Hardy fans out there.
A lot of action fans, obviously.
Ben and Drew's favorite movie, pretty much.
Ben and Drew's favorite movie's what?
Is Warrior. They always talk about.
Oh, really?
Warrior.
Interesting.
They love Warrior.
Wait, the Hardy Warrior, right?
Hardy. Okay. They actually did an action movie, Anatomy, with the director Gavin O'Connor and the writer, and
that's right.
It was a great movie with them. So
someone just popped one up. I didn't hear what they. Shawshank and Usual Suspects. That's a.
If you can find Janine's, put Janine's in there.
What's that?
I'm moving down to get to another Shawshank and Green Mile from Jake Yapper.
Usual Suspects is used to be yearly viewing for me right now. Right now I'm on two movies I got to watch every year are Drive and Right Stuff. I don't know what it is. I'm completely fascinated with both those films.
Interesting choices.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love Gosling, so.
Gosling.
I think I'm going to probably end up sneaking on. What's that?
I'm sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
No, I was going to say I could see Under the Skin sneaking into this yearly viewing thing. That's one I kind of learn something from every time I watch it. It reminds me of Kubrick, actually.
Yeah, that's actually very true also.
The Great Dictator and the Dictator. That's a great one. That would be a sick double feature.
That would be fun.
Are you shitting me?
That would
be perfect.
Yeah,
I mean, Sasha's very Chaplin-esque, so absolutely.
Yeah.
Janine the Machine has hers.
Ghostbusters for goddamn sure. Ghostbusters is not too far off of. I mean, God, that action comedy that rewrote the book. You know,
it's a great movie.
I don't know, Kevin's. Oh, here's.
I would put Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I'd open with Creed and with Dumb and Dumber. You really are jet lagged, aren't you, pal?
That's what he watched on the plane. That was the plane double feature.
That's what I try to watch on planes. Is like, is Anchorman in here? I don't want to watch nothing new. I just want to watch some shit to like chill me out. And I hate watching new movies.
I watched.
Oh, here comes Parker, Peter Parker. Good Will Hunting and The Prestige. Prestige is a fucking great movie. That's Nolan, right?
Yeah.
That's his best movie, hands down.
Oh yeah.
Prestige is Nolan's best movie, hands down. Parker's got something going on there. And Green Mile, I mean, you get that killer Sam
Rockwell.
Oh my God, that performance is. I'm like, Jesus, absolutely. He looks like he should be in jail.
The most underrated actor in Hollywood, Sam Rockwell.
That felt like a play to me. Like, you get to see Rockwell and Hanks do their thing together, like in that contained space. Like, it felt like theater to me, man. So,
also a Stephen King short.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Wow.
Good call, Peter Parker.
So Shawshank. Shawshank is also a Stephen King joint.
Double feature of Requiem and the Joker, and then go to a shrink after.
Yeah.
Go to a shrink. Go to the bottom of the ocean after. Fuck this thing. Give up.
Requiem for a Dream once. I cannot and will not ever watch that movie ever.
Exactly the same way I thought about the Joker. So yeah, I get it.
Drew guy loves Requiem for a Dream.
Coming to our rescue. The Beast himself.
Oh no!
Bring up Baby.
A Beast. Oh, Bring Up Baby. Thank you, Beast.
Thank you,
Bringing Up Baby. Yes, that is a phenomenal film. I'd probably go City Lights, Bringing Up Baby, number 2 for romantic comedies, then Raising Arizona. That's definitely a romantic comedy.
Oh, that's so good.
All day. If you look at it right, it's a romantic comedy all day.
Yeah.
All day long. Don't let all the bikers and people escaping jail throw you off. That's a romantic comedy.
No, absolutely.
Look at the end sequence, for Christ's sakes. I mean, if that doesn't seal the deal for you. The end montage.
There you go.
Ooh, The Hustler's a badass movie.
10 Commandments.
What do I got to take? What am I taking? Communion over here with 10 Commandments?
I have to watch that movie every year, though. It comes on during Christmas time every year, and my mom.
From my cold dead hands, you will take these stone tablets.
It's a movie my mom has to watch every year, so 10 Commandments is something that I actually do watch every year.
No, I mean, those are epic films. They certainly serve a purpose in cinema history all day long. Look at this one. He's back. Would you just get done choking your neighbor? Jurassic Park 3 and The Mummy Returns. That's funny, Hannah. That's cute. Why don't you offer something to the conversation? You're trying to be fun and games all the time. Wait till I draft him. I'll slap him around, get him into shape. You'll be a real killer when I get done with him.
The Anti-Game and Saving Private Ryan. Interesting choice.
Interesting.
And then Return of the Jedi and Warrior again.
All you Warrior fans out there, God bless your souls.
Actually,
Jedi is great.
Watch the AMA with Ben and Drew, and you'll love that movie. Like, they love that movie.
Listen, I do love that movie. I'm a Nolte guy from way back. And 48 Hours is in my top 5 of all time, so I get it, man.
Warrior is the unofficial breakup movie of the Action Army. So anytime you go through something, it's very crucial.
Andrew Guy broke up and was sleeping on Ben's couch for 4 months, and they'd watch Warrior every night.
Oh my God! I just realized my fucking computer's about to die. You're gonna have to travel with me.
We're traveling.
I'm literally down to one fucking battery.
All right, we'll get that.
This is some
I mean,
shit.
it's not a thrill to action episode if there aren't technical difficulties going on.
Dude, this is going to be like the Great Race or whatever the hell the shit's called.
Patio.
Yeah, and dude, I can't have the lights and the thing.
There you go.
Yep.
This is going to be some shit.
Oh, this is interesting.
It'll be good when Kaiser sees this.
Yes, I'm waiting for that. That's all right. I'll just keep it up there till it comes back. That's all
Dude,
right.
this looks like the fucking Blair Witch or some shit.
I just don't stand in the corner.
All right, boys. This is as good as and girl. This is as good as it gets.
Okay.
Kaiser,
Works.
tell them what you showed me from Warrior before my debut. Okay, this does look like the Blair Witch. So yes, so listen, it's common knowledge that Smets had the idea for the Mach Schmo Man and all that, and he did want to kind of come in the league as an assassin of sorts, and he had all these ideas. I said, slow down. I showed him the scene when Hardy walks out to the ring with no robe, no shirt, no nothing, knocks the guy out, and doesn't even stick around for the interview. And I'm like, that's you. And then I showed him a couple Road Warrior videos, and we're off to the races. We're the next IG. He's the next IG champion of the world. That's how that ends.
I think that's a great way to put Kevin Smets as a competitor into the Schmoedown because he's so fucking good at trivia that he doesn't need to have the act.
No frills.
No gimmicks needed.
Nothing.
No, just come out mad and beat everybody's ass like we always do. You know how we do things in the dungeon. Dylan, why is Kaiser broadcasting from? That's a good question. That's a good question because the answer is this. I have pigeons I have to attend to, and right now they're deaf, dumb, and blind pigeons. That's why you're not hearing anything right now. I'm in my pigeon cage. No, because you want to know the answer, Dylan? Because I can't have my computer plugged in and the lights at the same time. I guess I got to get a better extension cord. I don't know what to tell you, pal.
We're just trying to shoot a horror movie podcast. That's all.
It straight up looks like the Blair Witch. Jesus Christ.
Ed wants to update you if you weren't watching. The Yankees and Astros are in the 11th inning at this point.
But is it still 2-2? That's my question.
Yes, 2-2. Listen, I got it up in the corner.
Multitasking.
I got it up in the corner.
I need to know because
after the Yankees are up to bat. It's a 1-1 count in the 11th inning.
Shield attic.
David Justice is at bat. No, just kidding.
David Justice.
Yo,
it looks like he's in the attic from Hereditary. I haven't seen that movie because I don't watch dumb French films or whatever the hell he's fighting. I don't even know what Bibbs is talking about. Viviani's talking about some movie he saw on a layover in Denmark that nobody else has ever seen.
Hereditary is also a movie that I've only seen once and will never watch again.
It's a scary
movie. Hereditary. Okay, I've heard of that film. I hear it's actually very good.
It is.
It is a very good film.
It's disturbing.
What if I put a candle?
It's the same guy who did Midsommar.
Ooh.
I love it.
My Halloween face.
Spooky season.
Bibiani, get used to this face. Ooh, you make it spectacular. Ooh, we're coming for you.
Nerd Chronic is in the chat, so I want him to use that in the promo, please.
Nerd Chronic is in the chat. That's one of the baddest dudes on the planet right there. That boy,
absolutely.
That kid is a bad dude. Good artist.
There's so much talent inside of the Schmoedown. Like not even just like character wise or trivia knowledge wise. There's so much talent inside of the Schmoedown. Like Eric doing all of his things, Janine doing all of her things.
Pretty much outside of Roxy, Ken, and Grace. You're right. There is a lot of talent in this league. But outside of those three people, you know.
Is there a scarier person in the Schmoedown than Grace?
Dude, listen to me, man. Ken and Grace. It sounds like a canceled Lifetime show, and because she killed everybody on the crew. That's why the show got canceled. So no, there is no scarier human being in the Schmoedown than Grace. To answer your question.
Are you a Star Wars fan?
Hell yeah.
Have you listened to Ken's book? Sorry if that's putting you on the spot, but have you listened to Ken's book?
No, I have not. Does he read it?
He does. He does.
Wait, I got to listen to his voice.
You would have to.
You know, I really do want to read the book. I don't want to listen to him, but I definitely want to read the book. No, that dude is a funny, quick-witted, talented dude, all the way around, on camera, off camera. He's just can't say enough. You know, we want to break kayfabe. That guy's good at what he does, man, and it's always fun to talk baseball. And
he loves wrestling.
He loves
wrestling. Him and I mean, listen, I haven't been on Inside Schmoedown since before I was a winner, but maybe he can invite me back. Ken, maybe bring me back to talk. He's actually got the edge over me right now. I think what's he? No, we're 1-1. We've split. We're 1-1, right? I beat Chance.
Yeah.
And he beat Smets. Yeah. So we're 1-1. That's a good rivalry.
It is.
We're gonna take him out for sure.
I
legit might use that in one of his promos. It would actually work. Which part? The Lifetime joke?
I think it's the light it up.
You need to specify, brother. Which part?
I think it was the light up one, the candle one. You're coming for him.
Oh. It's the dumbest joke in the history of Schmoedown.
Oh.
Jeremiah Morris. I know Kaiser was in San Diego for a while. Did he ever meet the greatest hitter ever, Tony Gwynn? Briefly. I met Tony Gwynn briefly. He was coaching San Diego State while I was going to film school there.
Oh, sweet.
So I met him in passing, and he knew who my dad was, and but I never really had a conversation with him. But talk about an icon, man. I probably could have brought the cord to where I was, but I don't know why I ran out to where the cord was. And now we look like we're shooting, the William Bibiani story, Beast in the Attic.
The Beast in the Attic.
It's a Black Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
That kid's on a run, Jesus.
I love that movie.
That kid is on a run.
Best piece of advice you think you'd give him before a match?
Just one, baby.
Just
my best piece of advice. Don't embarrass me.
Perfect.
Who was that to?
Probably Zipper. No, just kidding. No. No, for real, man. I think they three different personalities with Zip, Prime, and Smash that they get different bits of advice, So I don't know, man. I always tell Smats the same thing. Go out there and beat the shit out of everybody, and let's go have a beer afterwards. So that's good advice.
I like that. That's good. Absolutely. If you had to play in a match, who would you want to play from J.
Dagnino all day. I want to beat the greatest of all time. I mean, if I'm going to stake my claim in this league, I got to beat Gucci. I got to go against Gucci. So I think that would be, if I could play anybody, definitely Gooch.
I like it. Billy, you just had one, I think?
I was going to say, who do you prefer, Pacino or De Niro?
De Niro. Come on. Godfather 2. Mean Street. Old school. No, I mean, Raging Bull. Shit. But look, Chino's great. I mean, Dog Day Afternoon. Good Lord Christ. That's so good. You could just smell the guy sweat in that movie through the screen, man. Like, a panicked performance.
They're both
Heat. Heat.
Heat's a little overrated for my tastes.
Yeah. I think that restaurant scene between Pacino and De Niro is great, though.
Look, it's one of the greatest shootouts in the history of movies. I get it.
Legit. Have you seen the made-for-TV movie version of Heat?
L.A.
Was that the Hallmark Channel do that?
No.
It's like L.A. Streets, I think, or something like that. Michael Mann made it.
Get the fuck out of here. Is that even real?
Yeah, no, it's legit.
Yeah, he made that, and then that's what got him the money for Heat.
That diner scene is almost literally word for word, that entire scene. So it's a really fun watch. If you can find that, I only know for sure that it was a made-for-TV movie before they actually did the movie.
I mean, Michael Mann's no stranger to TV movies, so I get it. Hold on one second.
Okay, we're holding on. This is like a true action podcast here because, like, when Ben and Drew are there, we always get the blank screen for a bit, so we're good.
I mean, it's not an actual chill to action.
Hey, I'm back. We're live in Siam. It's 8 a.m. Everybody's just waking up over there.
Good morning,
I've officially taken over the Action Podcast. We're live from Air Austin, Texas, channel 584. Danny's uncle's the station manager.
And her grandma's making us menudo in the back.
That's right.
The Heat made-for-TV movie is called L.A. Takedown.
There you go.
Okay,
what a piece of shit that must be.
Michael Rooker's in it. Can't go wrong with the Rooker.
Ooh.
Michael Rooker?
Oh, I love Michael Rooker. Who doesn't love Michael Rooker? He's in that Stallone movie, Avalanche, or whatever the fuck it was called.
Cliffhanger.
This movie loves that.
Cliffhanger. That's Brienne Taylor's
Cliffhanger.
one of her big ones.
Really?
Yeah. She
I
had
didn't know that Brienne was into rock climbing, but that makes sense.
So Melissa brought up a good point in the chat. Call to action for podcast / react your video of the year at the Schmoedown Awards. Kaiser, do we have your vote for that?
What do we vote? We're voting on reactors of the year at the.
Yeah, it's an action award.
Wow, that's tough. You guys have some good competition out there.
We do. You know what? Frank Janish and Brad Gilmore are no longer in the running. They've won it both times in a row, and they're.
I don't understand why none of those people are that talented. Well, Frank certainly. I mean, he's like the what's that Ron Howard movie? The piece of shit that won the Academy Award. Math Man or whatever it's called.
Beautiful Mind.
Yeah, that one. He's like the beautiful mind of the Schmoedown. I give the guy credit. Brad, on the other hand, anybody can put on a JCPenney suit and go out there and, But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
We'll see. Call to action number 1.
Kaiser, how about you and Dagnino do a show together on Schmoedown called Managing Your Life, where you give life advice? You can't take out a big enough insurance policy for me and Dagnino give anybody advice. In the first 8 hours, there will definitely be casualties.
That kind of life advice that
people blowing their life savings. It won't be a good outcome, but I think me and Dagnino could be an interesting Marvel team up for a Schmoedown show.
Crossover of the year, actually, at that point.
I mean,
Robert Adams from Texas says, "You don't want to know what's on Channel 584, supposedly."
Yeah. It's a puppet show, and it's a hybrid TV evangelist puppet show. Jimmy Swaggart meets Mr. Rogers. I'm sure it's really highly entertaining.
It is not Avenue Q. It's not Avenue Q.
What is that? Is that a real place?
Avenue Q is a Broadway show with puppets. It's basically like Sesame Street unfiltered. So they talk a whole bunch of shit. Sing a whole bunch of songs.
It's a Peter Jackson movie called Meet the Feebles.
Yeah, I know that too. That's good. I do have a call for a Kaiser reaction to a certain gift that we're famous for showing on this show. So let's put this one up here.
Frankie Numbers.
Flesh! Ah, Mr. Sam Jones. And like that, he's gone.
Well, what's clear about that video is that you're dealing with two insane people. Verbal Kent and Mike Kalinowski. Both of them should probably seek treatment yesterday. I don't know. They definitely seem like they hang out in similar circles. I'm sure they've each stirred each other's coffee at one point. How you doing, bud? You good? Things okay? Yeah, bud. Here, you got a stir stick? I'm not. I don't know. You know, Mike. I hate to see what's going to happen when we take his belt. Then you better really. Someone better find a room with cushions and padding.
Niagara Falls, Frankie baby. Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls. That's so sad.
That's a funny gif. Whoever made that.
That'd be Billy Belford made that gif.
That'd be me.
Oh, you did. Oh, you did something right tonight.
One thing.
That's the only reason he's still on the show. We keep him around for that because we can't use it without him.
And I knew that stuffed cabbage is good, so there you go.
We've deduced that much. Thanks for your insight, Bill. It's still 11th inning, 2-2.
2-2.
Yankees are up.
Still top
Oh
of the
no,
11.
shit! It ain't looking good for you. We got runners on first and second. It ain't looking good for people who are at the Alamo right now watching the game on a transistor radio because I don't think they got cable there yet, let alone. But go on.
All right, let's see. We kind of asked this already in a roundabout way. Robert Adams is part of Cine Fanatics. Do you ever watch any of the reactor shows at all? Have you ever seen any of them? Without putting on the spot, not to ask any who's better.
I see them, but I don't remember anybody's name.
Okay.
You know, I don't know who. I know who's. You know, that's tough. That's a tough question. Like
I barely know people's names.
It's just like I see these things and they come and there's a lot of funny people out there, but maybe I need to step up my reactor game. You think it's easy running this dungeon? I got to remember reactors now. I got all these egos and personalities. I got zippers and primes and smashes running. You think it's easy? You come do my job. I got to remember reactors now.
I believe there's only one specific podcast that is dungeon affiliated, and I want to say that that's Call to Action.
That's true. We are officially dungeon.
We are the officially dungeon affiliated.
Affiliated.
I'm pretty sure that we've been with the dungeon since day one.
Since day one, yeah.
So
Okay, so you guys feel official, do you?
That's what we were
I didn't see anything in the mail. I didn't see no gifts, no pound cake. Nothing came my way.
Paul will send that tomorrow.
I didn't see any peanut brittle. Everybody wants to take a.
Paul's grandma's making the gnocchi right now.
My grandma.
You better step up your bribe game.
Don't worry about it. You know we know how to bribe.
To everyone else. If anyone else is better menudo than my grandma can.
I'll get that. I'll take care of that.
This is great. This is. Who's this? Brian Fernandez. I don't know if Kaiser has answered this, but what part of the Bronx is he from? Well, Brian, I'm not from the Bronx. I'm repping the Bronx as a Yankee fan. I'm from Rochester, New York, which is the state north of the Bronx, is New York. And up on Lake Ontario. I'm pretty much from Canada, but Rochester, New York, right on Lake Ontario, right near Buffalo.
I listen to the Jesus and Marrow podcast, so BX all day.
Okay. Yeah,
do you listen to Jesus and Marrow?
I've heard them, but I'm not a religious listener. It's hard, to listen. I'm a big. I like Mark Maron, of course, his podcast. I like Baldwin's. Here's the Thing is good.
Yeah,
I'm into that. Russell Brand's got a podcast. It's pretty good.
He does.
And I like Conan's now is like my favorite thing, period, because huge fan.
I've always been a fan of Conan. Like, I can remember Conan O'Brien being a tiny person, watching Conan O'Brien go out onto the subway, talking to people who are watching his show on those little screens in the subway. That's my biggest memory.
And not know who he was, yeah.
Yeah.
PBS
when he was doing all this weird, super extra late night stuff when like Triumph, the comedy dog was.
Yeah, that was one of the greatest bits they ever did.
You can't do Triumph the way that Triumph was back then. You can't do that now.
I think Triumph still does Triumph, so that's the good thing. It's good that he hasn't gone anywhere in that character. But yeah, no, Conan is a huge hero favorite of mine, so I love his new podcast.
That's awesome.
Were you a Letterman fan?
Absolutely.
I love Dave Letterman.
Absolutely. Love Letterman. Love his new show. It's great.
Oh,
Ooh, yes. On Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Good stuff, huh?
I do enjoy Between the Ferns.
Great. Yeah, Haskell chiming in, Opie and Anthony. They were awesome.
All are too old for me.
Yeah, that's true.
The 90s?
Walker, Texas.
The 90s is
Ranger
too old for you?
That's right. I forgot about that bit.
Yes.
Kaiser, you're killing me here. Nico is sending me a text. Y'all know Nico. Is he like your sworn enemy in the reactor world?
Name doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah, I don't know who he is. Wait.
We don't know who that is.
Apparently, you
never heard of him.
Okay.
Everyone keeps asking us about this Nico and dedicated to art and legit. Like we just don't know who they are.
I got
it.
But we don't know who they are.
You take the fifth.
Dedicated to action. That's what it sounds like. It seems like that.
I think you're all pretty goddamn good at what you do.
They tried to make us sign a contract in New York, And Paul DeNuzzo
Look, Kelsey, that's funny.
had an interesting.
That's true. Nico will climb up to Alex McFarland, who's on our podcast as well. He's trying to get us to sign a contract to do a match with them. And I decided that I had enough of that. And I took the contract, started letting it on fire with a cigarette, and then ended up touring it up, wiping my ass with it, and slamming it on the ground and giving him.
You know what? Maybe Verbal Kent and Kalinowski belong in the same room. Based on what I've just heard.
Anytime, go one-on-one with Cal. I'll go one-on-one with them anytime, man. Anytime.
You went from making me eggplant parmesan to being committed. Good job, Paul.
I can do both. I can do both.
Welcome to Till to Action.
Mm-hmm. You got to be a little bit crazy to make good eggplant parmesan. So
that's true. That is very true. So
there's the half Danish Irish guy in the right-hand corner.
I'm really good at smoking fish. That's what we do.
Oh, that's what's up. I could go for that right now. I'm starving.
Oh, that sounds actually really good.
Starving. I could go for some smoked fish and smoked fish.
Kaiser, have you ever been to Texas before?
Yes. I used to work for a company that was based out of Dallas. I love Dallas.
Nice.
Love Dallas.
I absolutely love Dallas also. I'm 8 hours south from Dallas.
New Yorkers and Texans are the same people, just with different style senses and dialect, but they're very similar human beings.
I agree. I believe that. I believe that
passionate people.
Very proud of our state and where we come from, because there's not. I mean, Texas forever, man. Like y'all.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all can't get me.
I lived there for 3 years. I had to hear so much about how great Texas was.
It is great. I'm sorry.
I love Dallas. No, I have. I've never had a bad time there, and I worked for a really cool company, and I didn't live there, but I would have to go there for work. But no,
all right, Kaiser. So my own this and that. In-N-Out or Whataburger?
In-N-Out all day.
Get out of here.
No, In-N-Out all day. I agree with him actually on that one.
Paul doesn't know.
I prefer Dungeon burgers, but other than that,
yes.
So Billy sent me a photo. This is the aftermath of that contract. This is the aftermath.
Oh Lord Jesus!
Picking up the pieces.
Like a snake got loose in a high school.
You're like a 5-page contract. We don't read contracts.
Why was the whole thing?
So much time on it. He was so proud of it.
Why? Why would we read that? Like, he wanted us to read it and then sign it. We're like, no.
Readings for nerds.
I just want to get my whiskey.
Call Celino and Barnes and have them look over that contract.
There you go.
Here we go. This guy's back. Kaiser, when are we going out for eggplant parm? By my count, you still owe me lunch after our cut scene. Let's talk the draft. You know, Hitman. 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 I think we've come clear about where I stand on you. If the kicking you down a flight of stairs didn't get the point across, maybe I'd like to throw you in my trunk and drive around town for 4 or 5 hours and deliver mail. But then I'll let you out and I'll give you water because I like you. So I don't know where I stand on you yet. I like your gloves; they're pretty fashionable. But other than that, we can talk. Kids got game.
There's some merchandising opportunities.
This guy would know. The Nerd Chronic. He gets me. This
Kaiser is definitely the authority on hamburger. I mean, let's face it.
There it is. The early days of Kaiser.
Early days of Kaiser, the Schmoedown.
I would appreciate it if this blasphemy against Whataburger would not be on this podcast.
A little overrated. A little overrated.
A little overrated.
Like Roxy Stryer, a little overrated.
Wow.
Aren't you guys tied to her or something? She's managing you or something?
She is the first lady.
Manager.
She's our manager.
Yeah,
I thought there was rumblings.
She's the first lady of the Action
Managed
Army.
you in what? In building sandcastles on a Sunday? What does she manage you in doing?
In their match against Dedicated to Art.
Oh, you got a match? Is it a team match? 3 against 3?
3 against 3
versus 3. Yeah.
Do they have a manager yet?
They keep saying it's you.
I thought it was you.
Well, they better get their money and finances in order, but
That's
I'm
right.
not opposed to it.
I think they're sitting at Western Union.
You think I work for free? I manage champions. Let's get real. Don't just loan my services out to anybody.
All right. Well,
But listen. I'm always open to a match, especially against her. I've already beat her once this year. I don't mind beating her again for a second time. But sure.
Oh
shit! Houston just hit a home run.
Is it over?
I'm already eating my words.
It's all over then, huh?
That's the game, kids.
Hey, let's go, Stros!
Hey, Sam Houston wins tonight.
Hey, Sam Houston. Brianna just said something about Sam Houston. Sam Houston is related to Brianna, I believe is what you. There you go.
Sam Houston.
Miss Movies is
back.
Wow,
nice.
My great uncle is Sam Houston. That makes a lot of sense. I could see her, leading a revolution or whatever Sam Houston did down there.
She's very presidential.
She's got that Joan of Arc vibe about her. She could take over a scene and cut people down for what's important to her. I get it.
The biggest trip up for me, like when I first went to New York, the very first time that I went to New York and went to Soho, and to listen to people call Houston Houston was I'm sorry, this is Houston Street. I'll call it Soho. I'm not going to call it Houston.
Were you at a school for people with speech impediments? I've never heard it referred to as Houston. You mean the street, Houston Street?
Yes.
Yes, the street.
Houston, right. But it's spelled Houston.
Right.
It's Houston. It's not Houston. I don't know what Houston is.
Everybody pronounces things different. General Zod calls it Houston, right, or whatever.
General
Girl with the short hair, she calls it Houston.
Danny, you live in a state that has a large population of Spanish-speaking individuals, and you have a town called Amarillo instead of Amarillo.
No, Amarillo by morning. Come from San Antonio. Everything that I have is all that I have on.
Superman 2. Good job, Smets. Always studying, always on the ball, eyes always on the front. This is why we're going to be the greatest thing that ever happened to this league when Smetsy wraps that up. He's always thinking movies, like a lethal assassin.
That's right.
He's kind of like the Juggernaut. They both got hoods. They run through things.
There's a question. Got any rookies in the fan leagues that you might have your eyes on?
Why don't you send me some prospects, Jay? Maybe I'll cut you a check. If you want to scout for the dungeon, we're always looking to fill positions.
I know that Robert Parker has a big name out there right now.
Parker, is he coming for sure, or what's the deal with him?
Who knows?
No one knows?
No, I know that he's a big name. I know that it's been tossed around. I don't know if it's been officially announced anywhere.
No one knows if Parker's coming
Frankie
for
Numbers
sure.
told me to draft him in our draft, so I drafted him.
Is he entered in the draft? Is he a factor?
Well, we did actually called action. We did our own nuke draft as if we were the managers, and so as like a last pick, in case he does show up, Billy was told to pick.
Where did he go? What pick did he go?
The last pick of the draft. So it was like in case it was kind of a hedge in your bet.
Now, listen, when you draft him, you realize you got to pack him a lunch, too, like he's going off to school. You got to pack a lunch, send him on his way. You might have to take him trick-or-treating.
I got pudding cups, and I got some, some
Talent aside, I'm just calling a spade.
Capri Suns, maybe?
No, we got the old school box.
I could see him endorsing juice boxes and Capri Suns.
Dylan says Frank was just messing up his draft for fun. That could be. But somebody also did
some fool drafted me on this network.
That was James.
Hey man, someone's hoping they want to get Brienne on the cheap. They get her around 7 and they get a killer.
That's what it is. Frank says nothing is official.
But is he talking about Parker?
Yeah, that's what he's talking about, Parker.
Oh, he's a man who knows things. He might know something.
Absolutely. That's why I let you know that I should say this now that Belford thinks his draft was the best, but I actually picked you as our manager, and Smets is like one of my first draft picks. So I think we got it.
Was he your first or one of your firsts?
I think I put
Kalinowski
was first.
Here's
why.
You try and ingratiate yourself. And you took a lunatic over the greatest IG player that ever lived.
Let's talk business. You know business, right? You know business. It's about points, and is in 3 different leagues.
3 different leagues.
That's the only reason why.
He's a loser in 3 different leagues.
I was only going off of the list that we had out to each other. I did not know that Kevin Smets was in this, and I said it on the whole draft. If I would have known that Kevin Smets would have been a part of our whole draft, because I thought we were just drafting regular singles players, not the entire league, I would have picked Kevin first. Very mad about that.
The entire all the horsemen. You have the most geriatric minus Dan Merle. You have the horsemen minus Merle.
Yeah, some of those guys can still do damage. You saw what Roca did to Mike. Jesus.
My first pick was Paulo Yama.
I forgot who directed Doctor Strange
right there.
That is the pick. I have Paulo Yama. I have Eric Zipper. So I have loose cannons.
You got the loose cannons
on my fantasy draft. So that's already going to give me points. I got a chance.
Boy, they are some loose cannons. Let me tell you. You know, sometimes I feel like a detention center. I run a detention center for wayward boys. And then y'all drafted me. See how you did the machine.
Dylan drafted her right before I was going to draft her.
There we go.
Exactly. Dylan did draft her. So that's where we are with that. Oh, wait, he's got Boo Roca.
Boo Roca. Okay. Who's that? Silvestrini?
That's it's a friend of
Melissa is a part of our podcast. Melissa has been an OG in Call to Action for a very long time. Call to Action has been a very, very anti-John Roca podcast since day one.
Oh, hey,
and it always will be. Sorry, not. But John Roca, come on, chill.
Have you invited him on the show?
Not yet. We've made some overtures in the Facebook chat kind of thing. We never actually officially made an invite because we're not sure if
he might be in Deadwood now trying to sell whiskey to the locals.
That could be right.
Who knows what a tired old cowboy's doing right now? I don't know.
Hanging out with
I think Knapsack hit the nail on the head when he called Roca the old gunman from Young Guns 2. I forget what the fuck it was. It was hysterical.
Yep.
Y'all know what I'm talking about?
I do, yeah. I do.
Shot Watson or whatever his name was. Yes. Knapsack called him the bounty hunter from Young Guns 2. That's crushed me.
I have been a self-proclaimed the #1 John Roca hater in the entire Schmoedown community. So I would love to have an opportunity for John Roca to come on to my show and hang out with me. So
one-on-one with the great one, as they say.
Well, listen, if you pull a stage coach up to his house, I'm sure you can get him over here.
That's true. Yeah. Invite.
No, I'm just gonna pull up 9 3/4. I'm gonna pull up the Hogwarts train.
We have to get more.
Movies. I don't know what you're talking about. That's Smets's job. So watch that.
He worked for Universal Studios, I think, as a conductor. So he's got the whole uniform.
Roca.
Yeah.
Really?
There's pictures of Roca like doing like Hogwarts 9 3/4. He was at the
job train. 1 in LA kind of.
Yeah, pretty much something.
Yeah, Didn't Mike Kalinowski do that too?
Hey, you know,
tough
racket out here. Tough racket. Oh, that's some shit. That's cold blooded. The man's about to be on a Showtime show. That's good for Mike. God bless.
Yeah, that's true. That's awesome. I can't wait to see it.
You can't listen. Let's be real. I break his balls, but he's a damn good performer and a damn good competitor. Say what you want about Mike Kalinowski. That boy puts on a show and he's got knowledge. We're still gonna beat his ass, but he's great. I don't know how else to put it.
As long as you beat his ass.
Might be my most favorite performer, and I don't mean that in any sort of insult.
After me?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Absolutely. Yes. Because the way that
below me.
He put 100%. He puts on a show in a sort of way that makes you feel connected to it, but I feel like a lot of us know what this is. But there's still a lot of you that's in there. So like watching Mike Kalinowski go through his emotions in his wins and his losses and stuff like that, like he puts it out there, he puts it on his sleeve, and I appreciate that as someone who's been a fan of the Schmoedown for a very long time. I appreciate seeing that emotion into
I wonder if I can draft him once he loses his belt. Oh, he's gonna have to lose both.
I cannot wait to watch him lose that.
Oh, yeah.
I might have to do the Smets Kalinowski power move. Good night, all. Time to watch Men in Black 2 with Cambodian subtitles. Listen, once we go international, Smets, you're gonna have to speak Cambodianese or whatever the language is over there, and you're gonna have to answer questions in different languages. So now's a good time to start. All right. Well, why don't we do the final round of questioning?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do now.
And then what I'll do is I'll go back to training winners.
That sounds good. We can actually ask the chat if anybody has any further questions. Now is the time. Speak now or forever hold your whatever.
Now is the time to text us your bank account number and a pledge for all the fun, excitement you've had tonight.
If you're not subscribed to the Call to Action podcast channel, please make sure that you subscribe. We would love to eventually get to 1,000 subscribers so we can get super chat and so y'all can't pay us.
There's something.
Give us that money.
Mike is in her favorite match in November. That's a little bit of a tease.
Is that a movie? My favorite match in November is like a tennis movie.
The rom-com.
The fuck is my favorite match in November?
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah,
I got
Mike
her
and
favorites.
Scarlett Johansson in my favorite match in November. Obviously, he's the guy she dumps in Act 1.
That sounds right. Okay, here's a question. If you had no players protected and no belts, who would your number one pick be?
You motherfucker. You. Smet Smash.
Let's smash. You can't go wrong.
Nice.
You can't go wrong with that.
Gotta go with the boy.
What
It's guaranteed wins.
one change would you make to the league if you were in charge?
I've said this before. I would have some real food there. I mean, they're trying to bring out Lunchables and shit. Like, I'd like a nice sandwich. Like, can we? And I know Jen Sturger's on board. I think the two of us are going to create a coalition for better craft services. I said at match 1. They step up the food game in this league.
That's perfect.
How great is Jen Sturger as a backstage interviewer? She's the best.
She is.
Well, Jen is what you call a talent and a great pain in the ass at the same time. So I don't, somewhere in the middle. She's probably the best at what she does. So that said, sometimes she has choice words for the dungeon. And I think it's mainly because she understands our greatness. And, at times she might, be envious that she can't manage champions. But other than that, she's I couldn't see anybody else. I couldn't see anybody else doing what Jen Sturger does, because she's quick-witted, she's funny, and knows the sport. So she is a blessing to the league.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Little warrior.
Oh boy, here they are. Finally, you guys showed up. Caleb wants to know if we can get a tour of the dungeon during our trip to Spectacular. Yes, I don't open the doors to anybody to the dungeon unless you're in the dungeon. But yes, Caleb can get a stroll through. He's got a lifetime pass. I already told Matt that.
Hell yeah.
We love Caleb and Matt here. Happy birthday, Matt.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's yesterday now, but
Yeah, Matt, send me a piece of cake or something. Be useful. Why are you going to Orlando? Obviously,
I think it's
scout talent for the nuke.
talent for the nuke.
I'm scouting.
Gotta be there. Scout the nuke.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got a draft coming up. I got to start going to matches. I got to see who's doing what, because this changes the game. I knew, I know what I'm doing.
Belts, so
That's true.
What's that?
They'll all be available. None of those people will have belts, so they'll all
Mike
be available.
Chance and Mike might.
No, they're losing at Spectacular for that too. He's going to be so distraught after losing the Inner Geekdom title that they're dropping that tag team title as well.
To the
Listen,
family.
I hope
maybe.
they slip and fall in the sand and lose their belts, but they're still two strong competitors
That's true.
that you can't really mess with. I mean, Chance is a bad dude.
He's had a good run. He's had a very good run.
Yeah, and
After
we already
Ariana
talked about
crushed
we already
me.
talked about Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs Kalinowski. Does Kaiser play Dungeons and Dragons? You really have to answer me have to ask me that question. I knocked off a liquor store when I was 11 years old. I played Dungeons and Dragons.
No, dude, there we go. We're gonna make the Drew crew.
Would you recruit Drew Guy? Yes, absolutely. Drew McWaney, maybe. Video Drew. I think I would take a shot. I think there's something, I don't know what it is, but she's good and she's nuts and she would be a good fit in the dungeon, no doubt.
I don't think any of
Chandru,
it is.
Chandru is a good player too. You got to watch out. That kid's sneaky good. That's like the guy you don't see creeping up, like a cat burglar. He's coming through your window with a with a knit hat. Like Chandru's the guy you don't see coming. You got to watch out for that kid.
That's true.
He's sneaky.
All right.
But he's in the IG, so he plays second fiddle to the Smasher.
Perfect. I guess that's gonna wrap up the questions, I believe.
Yeah.
So, Dan?
That's it, y'all. That is it. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming and hanging out with us tonight on this Sunday, on a game day. Let's go, Stros. It is Sunday called Chill to Action. Thank you very much. Make sure you check out.
You guys sent pizza to my house, right? You got the address?
Any minute. It should be arriving any minute.
I'm surprised that it's not there yet, actually. Paul, please check on that. Chill to Action every Sunday. Every Sunday, you got us here. Next week, y'all, just a little quick house cleaning stuff. Next week, we will not be on Sunday. We're going to be on Monday next week after the Orlando event. Maybe Sunday, we're going to do a live reaction to the Orlando event. But on Monday, Paul, you want to talk about who we got?
As next week's guest is going to be the one, the only Rachel Cushing.
Woo!
Champ.
You got to follow Kaiser. You got to follow Kaiser with
big shoes.
She better get a good marketing and press team if she's going to try and do that.
Okay. That's right. So make sure
You better get speech writers from the White House and Comedy Central, since I'm so political and comedic at the same time.
I think she can do it. I think she
She's great. She's great. You got to respect that.
Absolutely.
The game is.
You guys come and check us out on Monday night at 10:30 Central, respective times. Y'all know them. 10:30 Central is my time, so 10:30 Central. Check us out on Monday next week. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us late on this Sunday. We appreciate it. This is chill. We'd just like to hang out and chill. So I would like to send a big shout out and thank you to John Kaiser for hanging out with us on this Sunday night. But as we're saying our goodbyes, our biggest goodbye is going to be to our third host. Thank you so much, Billy Belford. What do you have going on? Tell us where we can find you.
You can find me in Orlando on the 19th for the
wearing a kilt, cooking up corned beef, cabbage for
I'll be bringing smoked salmon and stuffed cabbage with me
good
to
man,
the
man.
And you can find me at Mr. Billy Belford. I'll be posting lots of Irish whiskey recipes on there later
Danish
tonight.
Pastries.
That's right.
Don't miss
some
that.
Kaplaka, you know.
Kaplaka.
All of that.
Sounds like a song by Devo.
Pastry.
My dear sweet Paul Denuzio, my mod, my favorite person on this podcast. Please tell us where we can find you and what you got going on.
I'm at Paul_Denuzio is where you can find me on Twitter, and Paul Denuzio on Facebook. You can also find me, as I'm going to hawk myself a little bit here, working for Ben and Drew at their Patreon. So patreon.com/teamaction. Join the Patreon, become an Army member, keep me employed by Ben and Drew. I'd really appreciate it. And and beyond that, I'll be going looking for my grandma's recipe of eggplant parmesan because I'm fucking hungry now. That just sounds so fucking good.
I also work for Ben and Jerry's with Paul. We work over there together. We make a lot of different ice creams.
All the ice creams. John Kaiser.
Crusher Crunch. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs Kalinowski's, the new flavor.
I'm gonna need all of the Schmoedown competitor ice cream flavors, please.
Don't eat Zipper's ice cream. You might be on a mushroom trip for 3 days.
That's, you know what? Make sure you put that in my bowl, please, and thank you. I appreciate that. That is where Chill to Action started from. This was a chill podcast. Let's get those shrooms in there. John Kaiser, you've been such a great guest on this episode. We really appreciate you coming out on here. Yo, man, you've been a big staple.
It was fun, kids. It was fun, kids. Good chatting with you. I'll see you in Orlando. Watch out. I'm coming to Orlando.
John, if you have anything to plug it right now. Let us know where we can find you on all of the socials and all of that good stuff, babe.
At Kaiser Says So on the Twitter. Other than that, you got to send a bat signal.
There you go.
Check out You Riding in Cars. That's a great web series.
Kaiser Stealing Cars is coming to Netflix right after Jerry's show. I follow that up.
Kaiser Stealing Cars coming to the SEN network.
I like that.
Me, Zipper, a crowbar, and 2 ski masks. It's a fun show.
I want a cameo from Nick Cage in there somewhere. Can we get that? Make that happen?
I'm sure he needs to work.
I love it. Perfect.
Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with us on this Sunday night. You know me. It's Danny Joy here. You can find me on Twitter at Danny Joy, DANIEJOY. You can find me on all of the Facebook pages, on the Action Army Facebook page, on the Call to Action Facebook page, on the SCN Network Facebook page, all of that good stuff. You can find me here every Sunday on Chill to Action. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us.
Last thing I want to say, 2 words for Robert Meyer Burnett: mothballs.
Mothballs.
Put them in the pockets. Put them in the pockets. Do yourself a favor.
Yo, I'm a family fan. I am a part of the family faction. I have worn that jacket before. Not gonna lie.
True.
Kaiser might be right. Put them on.
Well, the good news is many people have worn that coat, mostly in gutters. But go on.
I mean, that's usually where you can find me. If you're not going to find me here on the Call to Action podcast or on the Call to Action podcast, you can find me in a gutter. I'm sure that's usually where I'm at.
You're a Stros fan, so
keeping you warm.
Pick it up. There you go. Pick it up, man.
All right, guys. Later. Good talking to you. I'll catch you around. I'll see you in Orlando. It's going down.
That's right. Take care, everybody.
Later.